Here we go. Late night, late night, late night. Kicking the bobos. You know how I do. Those of you that's watching this on rerun, salute to you. I know you had to get some rest after a long week of work. Those of you that's up, enjoying the night, relaxing. Those of you on the West Coast, it's only, what, midnight? So, yeah. Those of you overseas, it might be morning. It is 2 in the morning here in Chicago. It is 3 in the morning in New York. I'm up expressing my thoughts. All my lives are organic. Something I've seen, something I think about. I really don't force my lives. So I really don't. That's why you probably don't see me at a regular time, because I really don't just make up stuff to talk about. I don't report a lot of stories. We already have content creators that do that. So I kind of like to just do my own thing. So yeah, even though it's night, come and represent your city. I'm representing Chicago, Illinois. Things are looking a little spooky. I'm going to be talking about that probably this weekend. Things are a little shaky. Good to see you, Alden. We got Greensboro in the building. We got Miami in the building. Everybody on YouTube know I'm representing Chicago. Everybody on Twitch, everybody on Kick, and everybody on both of my Facebook accounts know that I am representing Chicago, Illinois. You already know. Now, this is an interesting conversation here. There's been generational differences. I want to talk about that. There has been generational differences. The Cubs are doing great so far. Oh, that's great. That's good for them. That's a great thing. I don't really watch sports or keep up with sports. It's not legitimate. And I think sports fans have to overlook certain things to pretend it's fair and square. And I can't do that. Some people can, but I can't. I can't overlook fixed games. Some people can and still enjoy it. I can't. And I'm done with sports. Boxing, I'll watch, but boxing is. We seen the Gervonta fight where he lost, but he had oil in his eye or something weird, something strange they did. I just can't. I'm born in 1958. When I came up, sports was pretty much legitimate. There was bad calls here and there, but sports used to be, you had to go out there and win. Nobody was going to help you win. Then as we get towards the end of the Jordan era, Baseball was bad before then, back when the Yankees was hot. Oh my God, it was. What's a ball and what's a strike? How is this a strike today and a ball tomorrow? I guess. So I don't do sports. Sports is entertainment. That's what is listed as in all of his business papers. It's called entertainment, and it says they have the right to determine the outcome of the event. So they're not even registered as sports. They're registered as entertainment. Look it up. Baseball is entertainment. Basketball is entertainment. Football is entertainment. Soccer, those are not sporting events. Those are entertainment. Okay, people, come on in and we're going to get this popping. Let's let everybody get a little time to come over and let's get it cracking.
Naya Binge unite with gangsta. In my city it's Naya Benga. When them finger make a fire blaze, yo. You in danger, I'm a stepping razor. Naya Binge unite with gangsta. In my city it's Naya Benga. When them finger make a fire blaze, yo. You in danger, I'm a stepping razor. Your locks out like Shaq, I box out. Any snakes in the can trying to pop out. Don't drop out or cop out, get a drop now. Locks blowing in the wind with the top down. I'm fly, dude, you can't do what I do. Frosty and flashy with the heart of a sado. Living God true with hair like wool. Past the Charlie Tool and cool and make me get a pull. Naya Binge unite with gangsta. In my city it's Naya Benga. When them finger make a fire blaze, yo. You in danger, I'm a stepping razor. Naya Binge unite with gangsta. In my city it's Naya Benga. When them finger make a fire blaze, yo. You in danger, I'm a stepping razor.
Yeah, Doghouse Rasta, Where my Rasta at? Where the dogs at? It's rough out on the streets of the shop. You better watch your back, boy, you're bound to die. Spitting out the sky, gon' falling out your eye. Black people, you can make it if you try. You caught slipping, then you're gon' get killed. Tell you these niggas in the shy is ill. They don't call it ill, stay here for nothing. These niggas out here don't be huffing and bluffing. Naya Binge mean death to oppressor. I got a Tech 9 and the Glock on the dresser. It's funny to me cause I oppress oppressor. If you's a weak card, boy, me I'll test ya. What you know about the third couch roster? I'm not a slave cause I'm about to be the master. Folk on a hustler, nigga use a buster. Come get this shit cause I know you as a customer.
Naya Binge unite with gangsta. In my city it's Naya Benga. When them finger make a fire blaze, yo. You in danger, I'm a stepping razor. Naya Binge unite with gangsta. In my city it's Naya Benga. When them finger make a fire blaze, yo. You in danger, I'm a stepping razor.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's old. I did that 20 something years ago, maybe 21, 22. Freestyle. But if I was doing a record, it would be way better than that. Like, that's another story for another day. And it would be updated. That was good. And what was that? 2006. That was good for 2006. It's not really good for 2026. But I don't know. Especially a freestyle. And then I didn't write. That song that was not really a song. That was my friend in the studio. Illuminati Congo was in the studio. A lot of times in the studio you play around. So that was off the dome. That wasn't really strategically right written with real intricate. That was just off the dome. I learned how to do that. I would say in Hawaii. I used to go down to the reggae radio station, and there was nobody on the island too much on Oahu, but a couple Caribbean brothers that was in the military. They would come to the radio station. There was a few Rasta, but it wasn't really like a big reggae, a lot of reggae people. So I would just go down to the radio station, and they had a moment where they play instrumentals, and when people get on the mic, I just started getting on there. I just started getting on there. You know what I mean? And I remember one day I was walking down the street in Hawaii somewhere. I probably was getting some mangoes, or hunting mangoes or something. And I hear this car coming down the street, and I hear me in the car. I wasn't expecting all that. I was just up at the radio station. But I heard me in the car. And it was a bunch of Hawaiians. I guess they had recorded it, and they was driving by, and they was playing my freestyles on the radio station. I was like, what the heck? Because I'm a musician, and as a musician that plays, I play bass, we don't be jumping in the front, but I did eventually end up in the front of a band out there in Hawaii. So I did end up singing, because I was making up really good songs. So I ended up singing without really being a singer. But people said I was pretty good. I don't know. I wasn't a singer, but I was singing. Go figure, right? Yeah, I wasn't a singer, but I was singing. Our bands back there, them days, we would be very creative. We were young. So we would be creative. So yeah, I wasn't a singer, but I was singing. I was singing because I was a good songwriter. Not because I was a singer. I could write good songs. And so I kind of end up being the one singing them. You know? You could tell I'm playing the keyboards because I'm looking at the keys. So back then it was like, well, I went to music college, so I could play a lot of instruments. So I was kind of bouncing around on whatever needed to be played. Or if I had to sing, I would sing. If I had to play the bass, I played the bass. If I had to play the keyboard, I played the keyboard. I never thought about it much. I just did what I did. Young people is something else, and young, adventurous. And there wasn't a lot of people, so we had to do everything ourselves. That's, you know what I'm saying? See, I'm playing the bass there with a group. So there wasn't a lot of people, so you had to do everything yourself. So it wasn't like nothing we was thinking about. You have to do what you have to do to get the show must go on. So you put the bass down, the other guy get the bass, you sing, or you play the keyboard and then he play the bass, or whatever it took to get the job done. So I didn't need to think about it too much, but I never really was no singer or nothing. But I could rap though. I just ain't never rapped before. I could rap. I did one rap on a video at a mall. You know, they have a mall that you can go in there and they put the music and make you a video. I made a rap video. I don't know where it's at. It was pretty good. That was way back. My kids was babies. But this is the first time I'm really going to take a lead and do this rap. I'm going to do a rap album. First, I'm going to drop some songs. I'll probably drop like 10, 15 songs, then do an album. So I'm getting ready to start rapping just because I'm not supposed to. I want to drop some rap. I want to drop a rap album, some rap songs because I'm not supposed to. I'm 68 and I'm supposed to rap a certain kind of way. I'm very hard-headed. I don't like the idea I'm supposed to rap a certain way. So of course I'm gonna rap the other way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not for to rap the way they want me to rap. So I think that's the stimulus behind it. Plus, I think I'll make a lot of money because I'm real smart. And I think the way I want to rap at 68, I think I'll blow up. I'll blow up. I'm going to get millions of haters. He too old to be saying all that. Brother, you're supposed to be conscious. You know. Plus, there's a lot of reason I'm going to start rapping. Because I don't like the vibes where people be talking about rap and music. I just don't like the way people talk about it. I think it's too many people that don't have any music talent that's speaking on something and they don't know what they're speaking on. And then the people stuck in a box. So it's like if I'm rapping and I'm supposed to be spitting and it's supposed to be rhyming. What you mean stay on the, if I'm rapping and I got a certain life experience, I'm out here, I'm going to say whatever rhyme and whatever sound good, whether it's positive, negative, or whatever. I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to rap no fake positive stuff. And I live in Chicago with all this. I'm not going to do that. That's fraudulent. I got positive stuff in my life and I got negative stuff all around me. And both of those should be reflected in my music. Like I'm a vegan, that's going to show up in the music. But I live in the land of GDs, Vice Lords, BDs, Blackstones. So I'm not finna rap no make-believe it's beautiful and rainbows and positive, the unk and the metaphysics of the. I'm not finna do that. I ain't finna do that. To me, that music is garbage. When I see brothers talking about metaphysical, I say this dude is a fraud. Use a fake rapper, because there ain't nothing metaphysical around you, bro. That stuff you rapping don't even exist nowhere around you. You rapping some make-believe. Well, we're not doing regular. I like reality rap. Like I'm a vegan, right? Ain't nobody else no vegans. Everybody I'm around is a meat eater or eating whatever. So what I look like rapping a vegan rap like it's real, like, yeah, that's my reality, but that ain't the reality. Chicago's not vegan. Chicago's not vegan. I'm vegan. Chicago's not vegan. So whatever. I'm looking forward. So I pulled up that old song because I'm like, well, I got the vibes and my vibes be saying, okay, it's time to pull the trigger. So my vibes is telling me it's time to pull the trigger. It's time to go in the lab and start dropping these bombs on these people's head. Try to have my music career popping off there. Drop the book and then have that. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. And break the rules too. I'm a professional rule breaker. I'm not supposed to be rapping. which is fantastic. And I'm gonna have women in the video, but they're gonna be the right age. I'm not gonna go get no goddamn 20-year-olds. I'm gonna get me some badass 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, some bad ones. I'm gonna get some fine ass 50, 60-year-old women in my video. They're gonna look just as good as they're gonna be like, yee. I'm gonna go get some elderly woman that's bad that kept themselves up, body snatched, fine as hell, real body parts. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. And I'm gonna just be rapping about whatever the hell I want to rap about. I'm not gonna be doing diss songs and shit. I'm not gonna be doing diss rap. So if somebody drop a diss on me, I ain't doing no diss records. Because I ain't going to prison. In Chicago, diss records turned to real smoke. You know what I mean? I ain't going to prison with no, because I ain't doing all that, bro. Come on now. So tonight, I'm talking about something. Yeah, I mean, they might not have dreadlocks and stuff because I'm the type of person that come as you are. So if she 50, 60, she look good, she got her hair done, blonde hair, whatever the hell it is, hey, she can get in the video. She don't got to be like me. So she might be in there with dreadlocks. She might be in there with whatever. I don't know. I be outside. I represent everybody. I don't represent just one type of black people. I represent all black folks. If I see a sister with dreadlocks with some men trying to jump her, I'm going to help her. If I see a sister with her hair done and perm and somebody try to jump her, I'm going to help her. So I can't discriminate because I'm the ruler like Slick Rick, and all black folks is my people. So I got to love all of them. I could talk about them. I could try to make them do better, but I accept them for where they at. That's why I got so many vegan women under my belt, because when I met them, they wasn't vegan, and I flipped them vegan. I put dreadlocks on women's head, but I didn't start dating them with dreadlocks. So what's more powerful? To go and find women with dreadlocks and date them, or find regular women and they get around you and they take their perm out on their own and grow dreadlocks and they go vegan on their own? What's more powerful? Just saying. I didn't marry vegans. I turned them into vegans. Oh, so. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The mindset of consciousness is self-awareness. It's not make everybody else aware. It's self. So if I got a wife and she don't eat right, it's not going to give me cancer. Now, it's up to her to not give herself cancer. It's up to me to not give me cancer. So I could do is set an example for her, and she keep watching the example and change. But if I love her, I like her, whoever she is, basically. Lead by example and don't be trying to convert people. You know what I'm saying? So go. And definitely, I don't know what's going on with my subscribers over here. I don't know why y'all ain't on Vegan Intel. That is why I took Vegan Intel I took all my vegan stuff off of here because my subscribers, they don't want to eat right. So I don't talk about veganism over here or nothing like that. I figured those that are serious, they'll come over there. I'm not going to keep beating the drum because I might have like 300 people watching the live. Then I come over here talking about eating right. It's only 70, 50. Where you want to hear a bunch of stuff that's good about the world, stuff like that. But when it's something about you taking care of yourself, now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? You like Run DMC, dumb diddy, dumb dumb. Anyway, come over and subscribe to Vegan Intel, and then we're going to start this conversation. Yeah, go over and subscribe to Vegan Intel, even if you ain't going to watch it. I got to get my subscribers up. It's really nice because I got a whole different audience. So that's kind of nice. So I got a whole different audience. I got older people that's fighting health problems, that's asking questions what they could do for their liver, their kidneys. I got a lot of different vegans from different places over there. So it's kind of nice. It's a whole different crowd. Some of my subscribers over here is over there, but only the ones that's really trying to take care of themselves. I got a lot of elderly people over there, wife not feeling good, husband not doing good, certain brothers and sisters and people that had some medical issues and stuff. So they like the encouragement. The doctor want them to cut back on certain things. So for people like that, it's cool to just have a whole different audience, you know. So come on over there and subscribe. You need some encouragement, you know. You need to be encouraged to eat more fruits and vegetables, even if you ain't going to go vegan. So tonight I'm talking about parenting and raising children and all of that. Another very deep conversation, unique conversation like I do, not typical. A lot of philosophizing and historical context put together. And I said this to somebody on the phone, and I said, I'm going to talk about it. Because when I was growing up, the words mommy and daddy was one word. Mommy and daddy was one word. Now, what I mean by that, I mean that there was, when I grew up, you didn't have a mommy and then a daddy. You had a mommy and daddy. And you were raised by a mommy and daddy. And so, even though you had one parent, it was really like, even though you had two parents physically, it was really like one parent, the two of them, basically. And in those days, these are the generation, my generation, these are the foundational Black Americans that migrated from the Great Migration. They got married in the 50s. I was born in 1958, so my parents were probably married like 56, 55, something like that. And I was born here at Michael Reese Hospital, so my mother might have got pregnant when they got to Chicago from Alabama. My mother's from Birmingham, my dad's from Decatur. And in those days, both parents worked unless, in rare occasion, they were two people that didn't have any children, because sometimes women can't have children. Some of them would eventually adopt one. The parents that had two children, they all worked. Because it was a great migration, there was always an auntie that just came up that's still kind of young. And also, the teenage girls would babysit. So when my mother would go to work, my father had his schedule set up where in the morning he'd be there. My mother's there early in the morning. She lays our clothes out and stuff, but then she got to leave. She's got to be to work at 8 or 9. So she got to beat that downtown traffic. So when we wake up, we don't got to be to school till 9. So when we wake up, my father's there. He's a bus driver, so he could pick his job to work when he wanted to. He could pick his schedule. Bus drivers in Chicago, there's a billion buses, and they can pretty much pick their hour. And so we would get up in the morning and go to school. In those days, lunch was at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, all the children come home and have lunch, right? We go back over to the school at 12:30. We play outside at the school, at the playground and stuff at the school. Then we go into school at 1. We stay at school from 1 to 3:15. In Chicago, you get out at 3:15 and come home. So that means you get home, it's about practically 3:30. Mommy don't get home till 4:30 or 5 o'clock, sometime 5:30. So you got to be home anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. So because it's after school, the older girls on the block are available to babysit the 16-year-olds, 15, 16-year-olds, because you're 5, 6. That's very easy for a 15-year-old is like a grown woman when you're 5. And then she lives on the block and her mama is at home and there might be adult at home. There's adults all on the block. So it's never like a 911 because the block is all like family. So they can get anybody on the block. If it's a problem, no problem. Like one time as a little boy, I was running, I tripped, I bust my head. One of the neighbors took me to the hospital. My mother met her at the hospital. So it was great in those days. So there was always some teenage girl that could pay to babysit. And typically, once you get about the fourth grade, once I get where I'm about in the fourth grade, my sister in the third grade, your mama would just, y'all be at home till they get home. They didn't have all these crazy laws like now, that. So me and my sister get home. I'm in the fourth grade, she's in the third grade. They give instructions. Come on, come in this house, lock the door. Don't go to the door. Don't open the door for nobody. Sit your ass down, watch TV, make a sandwich or something. Don't turn that stove on. That's it. And we would come home. And the TV was a babysitter for sure because we was on that TV. Yeah. The TV was different than it is now. Boy, TV was serious. So we got to be home in enough time for Dark Shadows. You know, Dark Shadows come on with Barnabas the Vampire and stuff. So your mom ain't got to worry about you doing nothing because, boy, you finna bust up in there and you finna watch Dark Shadows. And when Dark Shadows go off at like 4, that's when the Flintstones and them finna come on. So all your favorite shows, they make sure all the kids' favorite shows come on after school. So you ain't finna do nothing. You're not finna miss your show. No, you're not finna miss your show. So it made it a little bit easier. And then sometimes we don't watch it. We go play and do stuff. Next thing you know, mommy's home. You just waiting for mommy to get home. My daddy's at work. He's not gonna get home till at night because he's got a shift to make sure he can take care of us in the morning. Mommy take care of us in the evening. But mommy was really, mommy and daddy represented two people. So when you're dealing with daddy, you was dealing with daddy and mommy. And when you deal with mommy, you was dealing with mommy and daddy. Whether the other one was there or not. So that's why I say mommy and daddy was one word, one entity. It wasn't no, oh, there's mommy and daddy. No. No, that mentality did not exist. One of them was two of them. Period. To the point where if they was both home, still only one of them monitored you. Mommy monitored you. And you know everything mommy say, daddy agrees with it. It ain't no mommy say go to the left and daddy say go to the right. They on one page. Okay? And daddy is backing up mommy 100%. So whatever your mother told you to do, his job was easy. Daddy didn't have to do much because mommy wasn't no damn joke. So it wasn't one of these things where you ain't listening to mommy, you run to daddy. Oh, no. Mommy not, these old school mommies ain't no not listening to mommy. Mommy worse than daddy. Daddy might give you a little break. Mama gives no breaks. No. I don't know about you new mommies, but the old school mommies, oh, you get no breaks. Mommy said this. That never changes, ever. This is how they could raise you so good because it's not going to change. And what they told you in first grade stand for second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, till you move. Same rules. So, so you got it down, so you're very mature because you got the rules down early from a couple of them little baby spankings. So our mothers never had to hurt us because we got spankings when we was little, and it don't take much to make you cry when you was little. They were smart. See, when you're little, they could just get you a little bit, but to you it's a lot, but to them it's not really a lot. And so by the time you get a certain age, you got it. Because in those days, they're not finna keep telling you the same thing year after year after year. It was like this. They didn't mind telling you 4-year-old stuff when you 4. They didn't mind telling you 5-year-old stuff to do when you 5. They didn't mind telling you what you need to do at 7 years old when you're 7. But they would not tell you stuff when you were 7 that you should have learned when you were 5. Like these new parents. They give you a time period to learn what you're supposed to learn in that age group. And you cannot be so slow that 2 years later you're doing this. That's a problem. And you're not getting nothing like the new weird mommies and stuff, where the son ain't getting good grades, but he got a PlayStation. Nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They never had to keep our toys away from us or don't buy us nothing because we knew they wasn't going to buy it. So when you know they're not going to buy it, then you don't do what's going to make them not buy it. It's not like guess they're not going to buy it. If you mess up too much, you're not getting what you want for Christmas. Not kind of. So nobody tests them. Okay? Whereas their autism, not that I know of, no. There was some slow kids, but no, I ain't no kid I don't know who had no autism. Everybody on the block was outside. We didn't have no slids. We had one kid, they used to call it mentally retarded. We had one kid on the block. So I don't know what that was. But now all the kids was all right. All the kids was all right, and there wasn't no fat kids. There would be a girl kind of chunky, but we didn't have no fat kids in the 60s. In the 60s and the 70s, there were no fat kids. Might be a little chubby. There was no fat kids. I had nobody I knew in the whole Maple Park was fat. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. 0. There were no fat kids. There were heavy set kids, right? But there were no fat kids. Everybody outside running and playing. All the girls could jump rope. There's no girls too fat to jump rope. That never existed. Now, that never existed when I was growing up. In the 60s and the 70s. There was no fat kids. I mean, none. Not the fat like y'all got. We used to call heavyset kids fat. They wasn't even fat. Well, we didn't really call them fat because they wasn't fat, really. We didn't have no fat. We didn't call nobody fat because nobody was fat. I think the biggest girl in my school, her name was like LaTanya. She would be small. She would not be fat under today's standards. Real talk. Because you got to understand, we were probably the most physical generation in the history of this country. The children that grew up in the 60s, we were probably the most physical children in the history of America as far as agility and all that. Because, yeah, my father and them worked and stuff like that. But, I mean, our agility, we climbing monkey bars, we swinging on swings. The girls are jumping double dutch. You know what kind of agility you got to have to jump double dutch? You know what kind of agility we play, and we playing everything. My dad and them was in the South, so they didn't get to play sports like that because they're in the country. There's no baseball field, there's no basketball courts. But us, we playing basketball, football, baseball, basketball, football, baseball, basketball all year round. Not to mention four square, two-hand touch, dodgeball, running bases. So we was the most physical group. And we was the baby boomers, so when there's more kids, there's more playing, right? If it's more kids, if it's a few kids and it's a lot of kids, who gonna do the most running? You know what I'm saying? The few kids ain't got nobody to chase. The lot of kids got a lot of kids to chase. So because we was the baby boomers, you had to be physical. It's a bunch of kids. We're just running around. We're just riding bikes. We racing bikes. You know, just on 116th in Aberdeen, not 115th, just on 116th in Aberdeen. When we get our 5-speed bikes, it's me, it's Richard, it's Jesse, it's Curtis, it's Keith, it's Sherman, it's Greg, right? So it's like 9 or 10 boys just on one block with bikes. You know what we doing? We racing. We racing. We riding them bikes for hours. So more children is healthier than few children. More active, more energetic, more physical. Less children, nothing to do. They sitting on the porch, 2 or 3 of them, nothing to do. I know because I had children, and my children didn't have nobody to play with like that. My daughter would go outside and be only 2 girls out there. We go to my mother's house, and my daughter go outside as one girl, one little girl. There was tall kids, but comparatively speaking. So tall, I was considered tall. See, tall is comparatively speaking. So whoever was the tallest was considered tall. But there's not even a lot of kids. When you say a lot of tall kids, there's a few tall kids, but there's not a lot of kids. It's just a few kids. It's not a lot of kids. A lot of schools are closed. Schools, they don't have as many schools as they don't have as many schools nowadays. It's not a lot of kids. It's a few. So there's some tall ones amongst a few, but it's not a lot of kids. Period. In America, there's not a lot of kids. Period. There's no kids at the park. You go to the park. Matter of fact, the water faucets are not even on at the park no more. When we as kids, the water used to just run at the faucet because there's kids just drinking off of it constantly. Now they got like a button on it. But it used to just run. You didn't have to push no button. But there's not even a lot of kids. There's hardly no kids, to be honest with you. There's no kids. The younger generation of adults, they don't have no babies. They're not having babies. You know what I'm saying? They're not having babies. There's nobody to go outside and play with. You're not listening. He's not listening. There is no one to play with. And if a child goes outside with no kids out there, they can get kidnapped. The only thing makes children safe is a lot of children. I give you an example. When my daughter was born, we would go over to my parents' house, and my daughter said she wanted to go outside. So she went outside. She playing with the little girl outside. Something told me to go check on her. When I went and looked outside, my daughter was out there by herself. The little girl had to go in the house and pee, which means anybody could have kidnapped my daughter. When I was growing up, my daughter would have never been out there by herself because there's 15 kids on the block. So there are no kids. So the idea kids need to go outside and play, you're not listening to what I'm saying. There is no one to play with. And I got to get rid of you anyway. You got to go. I kept bringing him back, but he's just horrible for my conversations. And I'm just tired of always correcting him. I'm not bringing him back. But there's nobody to play with. And so children outside by themselves are kidnapped victims. There's no kids. There's no kids outside. There is no way you can go in Chicago and see kids outside playing. There are no kids. The only way you can see kids, you got to go over by a school, and if there's a basketball hoop over by a college or school or high school or something, there'll be kids. But on blocks, like when I was growing up, in the neighborhoods, there's no kids in these neighborhoods. There's no children. This current generation do not have no children. And when I lived in O Block, it's a whole bunch of apartment buildings. And the amount of living quarters there compared to the amount of children, the only reason there was some children because there was hundreds of apartments. But the ratio of children to the apartments, you know how many children would have been out there in the 60s and the 70s? So this generation don't have no children. And what's crazy is they know they don't have no children, but they get on the internet pretending that they got children. But then they get on the internet and say they ain't want to have no babies till they 40. This kind of stuff I got to put up with. Because when I'm talking about having children, it's clear this generation don't want to have no babies. So considering the conversations is so much that they don't want to have no babies, how could you turn around and say, go play? When it's already clear you don't have any babies. So as of early 2026, roughly 30 to 33% of Black American adults are married, marking a significant decline from the 1950s when approximately 61 to 64% of Black adults were married. This represents nearly a 50% decrease in the overall marriage rate over the last 75 years. So this is what I'm telling you with these dudes on the internet. They don't come from strong families because there's been a 50% decrease in marriage since I was born. So these dudes ain't got no daddies in the house. Their mamas ain't married. Their daddy's not married. So they're not getting a good parenting. You understand? Look, 60 to 61% of Black family, Black men and women was married when I was growing up. Now it's only 33%. Only 33%. So that means out of 10 couples, only 3 of them is married. The other 7 is the ones having these babies, these dudes playing on the internet. That's who they mamas and daddies is the ones ain't married, ain't together, got no structure. Definitely not gonna respect me because I ain't got no daddy. So from 1950 to 1960, in 1950, 64% of black women aged 15 and over were married. 64%. By 1960, the marriage rate for black adults was 61%. Now, 2025, 2026, only about 30% of black adults are currently married, with roughly 50% having never been married. And this current generation is washed, is shot. There are no families. There are no husband and wives. So no, you wasn't raised like me. No, you had to have a good. How could you be raised right when nobody's married? You don't have a mother and father. When I grew up, like I said, 65% had mothers and fathers. Only a small portion had mothers and fathers. The amount of people when I grew up that didn't have mothers and fathers is the amount of people now that do got mothers and fathers. Let that sink in. 30% didn't have mothers and fathers married, and now 30% are the only ones got mothers and fathers. So this is why, okay, and then that affects your education, that affects your intellectual level, that affects your intelligence, because with mothers and fathers, we all had to go to school. We all had to get A. We couldn't fail. See, when you got a mama and a daddy that work, no, you can't. You can't be failing. You can't be. Nobody I went to school, man, out of 24 kids a class, two classes, only one person get left behind, maybe two. Man, out of 50 to 50, 55, 56 children in the fifth grade, when we go to the sixth grade at that school, maybe only one person get left behind. Maybe. Wasn't nobody failing. Wasn't nobody running around getting in gangs. Gangs was a bunch of losers from a long place that get together. The loser over here and the loser over there and the loser over there, to the point where by the time I got in high school, the gangs were such losers and it was so few of them, they didn't have enough power to recruit us because we outnumbered the gangs. When I went to high school, the gangs, us. We could have beat the gangs up. Listen, when I went to high school, we could have beat the gangs up. Anybody would tell you that when them children from them people married in the late 50s, when them children got high school age, the gangs just declined in Chicago. Gang activity declined from 72 to 76 when I was in high school. And then after we got out of high school, that's when it picked back up, when the family structure started to disintegrate. But the children from the strong family structure, my generation, the gangs were powerless. They had the lowest recruiting and everything. Nobody gave a damn about no gang. None of my friends was in the gang. Nobody I grew up with was in the gang. Nobody. Like one boy maybe. Ratface. Ratface was the only one running around with the gangs. Parenting among Black Americans has evolved from a survival-focused authoritarian model in the 1960s to a more nurturing, open, and safety conscious approach in 2025, heavily influenced by shifts in social structure and technology and economic opportunities. While core values of respect and resilience remain, no, it doesn't, the methodologies have significantly shifted from tough love to gentle parenting and active advocacy. This is when the Europeans started trying to tell Black people how to raise their kids, which coincidentally, once Black people listened to them and raised their kids, they went and created a penitentiary system that make money. And wow, what do you know? The same ones told Black parents to stop spanking their kids is the same ones that built industrial prison complexes. What do you know? Wow, huh? The same ones that start getting on TV telling you don't spank your kids, talk to them, is the same ones that end up locking them up and sending them to the penitentiary to work. All of a sudden, when they start locking them up and sent to the penitentiary, the people that was on TV saying, don't spank your kids, disappeared. Can you imagine? You don't see them anymore. All of a sudden, there's nobody saying, don't spank your kids. And wow. They just disappeared after they filled up their prison. Okay, we don't have to teach that anymore. So let's look at it. Key differences at a glance. 1960s parenting, 2025 parenting. Structure. Primarily two-parent households, over 75% in 1959. 2025, higher prevalence of single-parent household, 44% in 2003. Discipline, 1960, strict, authoritarian, corporal punishment, common. Don't spare the rod. 2025 parenting, gentle parenting, focus, emotional regulation, reducing corporal punishment. It's reducing corporal punishment, but more people going to the penitentiary. Okay. Look, you can see the Babylon. You can see the Babylon. Focus. 1960, survival, obedience, preparing for overt racism. 2025, emotional intelligence, empowerment, mental health, and thriving. Now, they say mental health when we got the worst mental health ever. The kids is crazy. They just shot a bunch of people in Oklahoma. What do you mean mental health? The dude just unalived eight children a few weeks ago. Look, they say emotional intelligence, empowerment, and mental health. That's what the parent is teaching now. And people is crazy now than ever. Just look at the lies. Look at it. They say now 2025 parenting, mental health. When in 2025, a man unalived all his babies. He said one got away. Hold on, you cannot make this up. They saying now they got mental health. When they is crazier than ever before. Look how they disrespecting original parenting, survival, obedience, preparing for overt racism. Look what they saying. Corporal punishment. So they saying my parents and them was all about corporal punishment, and that was horrible. And guess what? Guess what all the young people guess what one of their favorite phrases is? Belt to ass, belt to ass, belt to ass. And they mean shooting people. Well, listen, they said your parents shouldn't have got a belt and spanked you. The kids. And now the kids is calling shooting and unaliving people belt to ass. So they said our parents was wrong for really putting a belt to ass. But the results is kids calling shooting each other belt to ass. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. And they won't admit the results of what they said is a failure. When you look at 2025 parents, that's say everything in this list say failure. They say open communication, and this young generation can't read, can't spell, and definitely cannot communicate. Young black men cannot communicate. They say validating feelings. Young black men is all in their feelings, have anger issues. This younger generation raised by what they said have the worst emotions and anger issues in the history of Black America. Look, shift towards individual family responsibility, parental advocacy. Individual family. In other words, mommy is raised you by herself. They're trying to sweeten it up. What the hell is individual family responsibility? And what is parental advocacy with no parents? What is a single parent? How is a single parent household parental advocating for parents with one parent? Advocating for parents would be two parents and grandparents. Because when we grew up with our mommy and our daddy and the grandparents in and out. When I was growing up, our parents would put my mom would put my grandmama on the phone. When I was growing up. Oh my soul, if I got in trouble at school and come home, my mama would get on my case. And if that phone happened to ring, and this my mama's mama, my mom picked up the phone, hey, my grandma said, what you doing? Over here hollering at this fool. What are you doing, Bessie? Then went up to that school acting a fool when the teacher called me. And what my grandma said, put them on the phone. Put them on the phone. You get on the phone, hello? Boy, you down there acting up. Bessie done told me you're up there acting a fool. You don't want me to get you. You don't want me to, do I got to come down there? That's how I grew up. Well, you ain't got no friends. Your dad ain't trying to hear it. Your mom ain't trying to hear it. Your auntie ain't trying to hear it. Your uncle, your grandma, your ain't nobody. You out your mind. Boy, you been. You ain't got no friends. You don't got no friends. You don't got no. If you ain't doing right, when I was growing up, you ain't got no friends. To the point when it get around October. When I was growing up, what did all the children start doing around October and why? Put it in the chat. When I was growing up, what did all the children used to start doing and why in October? I'll tell you what. Christmas coming. All the kids know that Christmas list gonna be real little if mama mad when it's time to buy your toys. Now, if you want to get all your toys, you better be very nice. You better not shout. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you is sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Check it out. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Because you ain't getting nothing if Santa ain't feeling you. And everybody knows Santa is mama and daddy. Everybody know who Santa is. Santa is mama and daddy buy them toys. And if you don't be good, that little extra couple toys, you ain't getting it. You ain't getting it. My grades had to be good all the time. But the way my parents function is this. We used to get an E was excellent, G was good, F was fair, and U was unsatisfactory. So a U is what an F is now. It used to be a U. And what my mother did, I get $1 for every E, and I get 50 cents for every G. You get talked about like a dog for an F and a U. Yeah, you get the opposite. And me, I always been about the Benjamin babies. So I'm trying to get them E's and G's because I need them dollars and them 50. So I'm trying to get as many dollars as I can. I'm trying to get 5 E's if I can, $5. You know how much $5 is? When you're in the 3rd grade and they got penny candy? $1 is 100 pieces of candy. A bag of chips, 5 cents. So $1 is 20 bags of potato chips. So you can, boy, listen. You live in the big kid life. If you get $1 or 50 cents, you live in you balling. You want them dollars and them 50 cents. You don't want that cussing out and that disrespect. That's how it went. You either gonna get money or you're gonna be disrespect. And they didn't care nothing about disrespect. They're gonna tell you straight up, boy, you know, the older you get, the dumber you get. Well, I never know because I never did it. But my mom and them, I know what they would have said. Why is you up at that school acting a fool? Up at that school acting like you stupid? I tell you what, put that bike up. Put that bike up. And wear your books from school. Go read this and read that and come back, Emma. Yeah. Since you can't do it on your own, your mama gonna make you do it. The TV off. Turn that TV off. You up at that school acting a fool, failing everything, watching that TV. Turn it off. That never happened to me because I never wanted to be no dummy. I never wanted to be, I ain't never want to be no dummy. My only problem was I was too smart. So I was too smart. That's what my problem was. Because I realized that you got so many weeks, then you're halfway there, then you got so much weeks and you get the grade. So I wouldn't do nothing the first half, right? Because I knew I was smart. So I wouldn't do nothing. Then the second half, I get all E's and G's. So I end up with E's and G's, right? Because I was too smart. I realized, oh, I ain't got to do nothing. I just pass everything next time. I can sit and tell jokes. Your mama's on the Flintstone. She be on the Flintstone hood pulling this car. She's so fat, you know. So I just could tell jokes and stuff because I know I'm a pass. All I'm gonna do is get all 100s You know, because you got the first quarter, second quarter grades, third quarter, fourth quarter grades. So I ain't doing nothing the first quarter. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just going to do real good the second quarter and get some E's and G's. Once I realized I don't got to do I was too smart. I was too smart. I didn't want all E's and G's. I didn't want to sit there and pay attention like that. Not like that. Not if I'm super smart. I was too smart. I was too smart for my own good. I realized I can manipulate the system. Oh, so I ain't got to do nothing and I can still get good grades? It's up. It's up. I'm not going to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's messed up, ain't it? That's messed up. Because I realized as long as I do everything the second quarter, I'm still going to get E's and G's. So teachers, they didn't really like that. They used to tell my mother, he's real smart, but he just don't want it. He manipulating the system. They basically say, you know what I'm saying? He's around here disturbing the other kids because I just want to tell jokes. I was the YouTube. I've been on YouTube since the first, second, third, fourth grade. I was on YouTube. It was just live in the classroom. I've been doing what I'm doing right now. The teachers hated me. You're sitting there disturbing the other kids, then you're going to pass. They're going to fail. They used to tell me. You're going to pass. But you're disturbing the other ones, and they can't do like you, and they're going to fail, and then you're going to pass. And I'm thinking, lady, shut up, talk to me. I'm a kid. Y'all got me up in this school all day. I'm a kid. I want to play, lady. Maybe I don't want to sit here 5 days a week doing my childhood. Maybe I want to be a child. Maybe I want to have fun. I don't want to be in here. I don't got to be in here this long. Okay, if I could pass in half the time, why can't I just go to school half the time? Why am I here so long to learn this easy stuff? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Why am I here so long? So that's how I looked at it. Why am I here September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May? Why am I here 9 months? I could do this in 4.5 months. The rest of the time I could be riding my bike. I can learn all this in 4.5 months. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? This don't take 9 months. This doesn't take 9 months to learn this, what you're trying to teach me. I can do this in 4.5 months. I can learn all of this. In 9 months, I could have been and did the second grade and the third grade. What are we doing? This is too slow for me. No, I don't want to get all E's. I don't want to get all A's. I don't want to be a nerd. I don't want to do that. Plus, I didn't like the system. I didn't like smart kids, less smart, dumber. I didn't like that. I didn't like categorizing children. All these children is my friend. Stop categorizing us. Don't try to put me in the smart kid category. I don't want to be in no category. Can I just be me? Because then they start making us sit in the category. You're a smart kid, you got to sit up. And all the kids was my friend. I'm real social. So I like every last kid. So I didn't want to be with the smart kids and look down on the other kids. They all was kids to me. So I ain't really like that. But I'm just showing y'all now the difference in parenting. How parenting has gotten horrible. Look, discipline and emotional expression in 1960 versus 2025. In 1960, discipline was often immediate and physical, designed to create quick obedience. This was seen as a necessary tool for survival, ensuring children would not provoke white authority figures. Now, this is not true. This, what they just said, is regional. So that might have been true in Mississippi or Alabama, but that was not true in Chicago because Chicago was all black. So our parents wasn't quick to physical. We didn't get a lot of spankings because my parents felt if they had to spank you too much, you slow, something wrong with you. So that's false. There was not a lot of physical activity. When I was growing up, my mother didn't raise me with physical activity. My mom and them raised me with the threat of physical. See, they ain't telling y'all the whole story. Parents back then used to use the threat. They didn't really do it. So if my mother get home in the evening, she watching TV, and my sister, Mama, he bothered me. Then I come back, Mama, she won't stop. And he back there, stop, you stop, you stop. My mom said, come here. And she say, go get my belt. And we would go get her belt. And then we bring her a belt. We scared now. And my mama used to do this. And she was sitting right here. Keep on. And with that belt sitting right there, we would be good. My mama sent for the belt 1,000 times, used it very few times. So that's not accurate. Black parents used discipline as a threat. They was not doing it. There wasn't nobody getting a lot of spankings. We mostly got the threat of spanking. All the parents, that what they did. And then once you got like in the 4th grade, where you love your bicycle, then they started saying, bring that bike in the house and don't ask for it. So then they started taking away stuff you like. So by the time I got in the 4th, 5th grade, they weren't doing spankings no more. They was, they was doing other mental brutality. My mother, one time, I don't know what I did, but I got on her last nerve. So she wouldn't let me go outside. And growing up in that era, in the 60s, with 1 million kids outside, to not go outside is the worst punishment ever. Because they all in front of the house. Can you come outside? No. Why your mama mad at you? You know what I'm saying? It'd be like 6 kids on the sidewalk. So you know what my mother did? One time, she said, come here. I guess I had got on her nerve. And she opened the living room window. And she made me get on the couch. Because the couch was up against it, you could look out. And she said, get on your knees and look out there and look at all those good kids having fun while you in the house because you acting a fool. And man, that was the worst punishment ever. She made me sit in the window and watch them play. Look at them. Look at them. Look at the kids that's being good playing. Right? Boy, that was brutal. It was smart. That was smart. But boy, that was brutal. And she wasn't playing. She made me sit up there for about 15, 20, 30 minutes and watch everybody have fun. Boy, I'll never forget that. Because when the kids see me in the window, especially the little girls, y'all know how little girls is. The little girls on the block, they stop. Can you come outside? Why? Your mama got you. His mama gonna get him. His mama got him. She said he can't come outside. You was bad. And then they be discussing it. They be discussing it. Then after a while, they run on and play like, hey, bye, we going to play. You better act like you got some sense. We're not going to stand in front of this window. We got stuff to do. We got hide and go seek, Captain May I, the devil in the pitchfork. We got stuff we got to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, red light, hide and go seek. You finna miss all that. Because that was like everything. Captain May I, Mother May I. You know what I'm saying? That's how Captain May I and Mother May I taught you how to be nice, especially to the girls. Because the girls, when you were a kid, the little black girls, they ain't nothing to play with. They the roughest. They worse than the boys. The little black girls is rough. Yeah. You done got on Cookie nerve and now y'all playing Mother May I? Sherman answered, Mother, may I take 2 steps? Yes, you may. My sister answered, Mother, may I, can I take 3 steps? Yes, you may. I asked her, Mother, may I, can I take 2 steps? No, boy. I'm not finna, you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna win. The girls is ruthless. So you not finna win if you got on her nerve. You got to wait till somebody else's Mother May I or Captain May I. Because if you done got on Cookie nerves or one of the twins' nerves or Julie nerves or Leslie nerves, boy, no. You could take 2 steps backwards. I can't stand her. I can't stand her, and you can't stand her for what? 7 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes, and we forgot about it. It was great. It didn't. When you fall out with each other, it lasts about 3 minutes to 7 minutes. Yeah, we went. It wasn't long term. We too stupid for it to be long term. We played too much, so it don't be long term. It just be short. It's great. You and Jesse have a fight, and after you have a fight, when I grew up, little boys, when we had a fight, it went like this: you got to have a fight. And then after the fight, you got to argue about who won. Because nobody really know who won because y'all little boys and neither one of y'all could fight. So the way fights used to go is me and you have a fight. And then afterwards, we argue about the fight. Then we go play. By the time we get through arguing about the fight, we ready to do something else. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, enough of that. The fight over. Thinking about the fight is over. Plus, yeah, I fought Jesse, but they don't need to keep thinking about it because me and Greg might fight tomorrow, or Greg and Jesse. So we got to move on for the next fight tomorrow, probably. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It was great. So you wait after the fight, you got to argue. I hit you right there. I hit you right there. Then I hit you in your lip, and you went. Shh. You're like Then I hit you like that, and we be arguing about who won. Until Dad get tired, Dad get bored. It was all playing. Even the argument about the fight was a part of playing. And you know our kids is, we don't want to do nothing too long. So, okay, enough of that. Okay, we got to do something else because this is boring. This is boring arguing about the fight. And it's like the fight never happened. I swear to God, it was like the fight never, ever happened. It's like it never happened. You never think about it again, ever. It's too bad this young generation ain't fluid like that. I swear to God, if we have a fight, after about 2 minutes after the fight, you never think about it again, ever. Just let that sink in. It's like it never happen. Why? Because don't nothing Trump playing. Everything get kicked to the curb to get on them bikes or to play some Foursquare or something like that. And all of that was made possible because everybody had mommies and daddies. And when you live on a block and there's 12 or 14 houses on this side or 12 or 14 houses on that side, let's say it's 28 houses, right? That's 28 families. That's 28 daddies and 28 mamas. Something that this generation don't know nothing about. If you live on a block with 24 houses, when I grew up, that's 24 mamas and 24 daddies, but mostly 24 mamas, because the men ain't paying attention. The mamas is the nosy ones paying attention, and they own the kids. And so if you mess up and Miss Smith see you, Miss Smith finna come outside, she finna tell you off, then she gonna take you to your house. She gonna be like, hey, Bessie, hey, girl, what that fool doing? Bessie, he down there, you should see him. Just down there, just showing out. Now your mama gonna go off. She telling the lady that snitched on you, thanks, girl. What you cooking tonight? They act like you said, and when they get through doing their little stuff, then your mama, get in here, you down there acting the fool. That's why I have to come down here and tell me you down there acting the fool. See what I'm saying? Because the mamas would snitch on all the mamas, the other mama would tell you all, then go snitch. Your mama tell you all. It ain't no cut, no breaks like the new generation. Listen, ain't no break. You ain't getting no breaks from nobody. Your mama not gonna just let Miss Smith get on your case. That ain't enough. Because now your mama mad twice. She mad you acting a fool, and she mad Miss Smith had to come tell her. So you in trouble twice. Now, if it's early, she might go get on your case, and you might could go outside, because they didn't do a lot of spanking. They did a lot of disrespect back then. They didn't. They were smart psychologically. Down there acting a fool. Boy, the older you get, the dumber you get. You go out there and sit down, act like you got some sense. Okay, you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. Okay, and that make you cry right there. Get out of my face and go out there and play and act like you got some sense. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And act like you got some sense. Yeah. Now your daddy, he not involved. None of the daddies is involved. The daddy and the mama is one person. Yeah. Mama and daddy is one word. So when one of them gets you, both of them got you. If your daddy go off on you, that represents your mama too. If your mama go off on you, that represents your daddy too. Facts. And if you want to do something, you have to pick which one you want to ask. Because whoever you ask, that answer is both of their answers. One time, I asked my mother, could I go outside? And she said no. I was little. I didn't know no better. So I went and asked my daddy. He said, yeah. So my mom, when she see me outside, she said, come in here. Didn't I tell you can't go outside? I said, Daddy said I could go outside. She's like, Randolph. I said, I told this boy not to go outside. My daddy looked at me. Your mama told you not to go outside? I said, yeah. And you came and asked me, could you go outside? Boy, He said, let me tell you something. Whatever one of us say, that's the answer. So when your mama told you no, that's no. Period. That's why I said mama and daddy is one word. So you got to be careful which one you ask, because whatever the answer is, that's it for both of them. That go for both of them. They're not going to over. If your mama say you can't go outside, and your daddy feel like she being too hard, you can go outside. He ain't gonna overrule her though. Tough. You should listen to your mama. Facts. There is no two different ways. You can't let your children play between the two of you. And they got to listen to their mama. Their daddies is not supposed to be that active with no dang on kids. When you see situations where the daddy's the big disciplinary, that's a messed up family. Because the daddy not supposed to be no disciplinary like that. The mama's supposed to do all that. The daddy not supposed to be disciplining you and all of this. Your daddy crazy. If your daddy was your daddy crazy. Your daddy not supposed to do that. Your daddy only supposed to step in when you get older and you start acting like you're too big for your britches, but not really, because if you got a good mama, you ain't never too big for your britches. So even the concept that your mama can't control you no more, I don't understand that. Because the mamas I grew up with, man, listen, you finna listen to them forever. Boy, it ain't no you getting too big to listen to mama. So I can't comprehend where you done got so big where your mama can't tell you what to do and your daddy. I can't comprehend that. Hey, my mom, I ain't never got too big. Boy, my mama didn't play no age limit. I don't know what kind of mama you got. But my mama, boy, as long as you was living with her, boy, my mama did not have no age limits to running things. Yeah. Yeah. And if you got good parents, oh, that's over. By the time you get in, seventh grade, that's over. By the time I got in seventh grade, that wasn't all that mom and daddy stuff. I'm almost like a grown man. I do my chores. I clean up my room. I'm pretty much doing everything. My mom and daddy not hollering at me at no damn seventh grade. If you're in seventh, eighth grade, high school, and your mom and them hollering at you, you slow. You slow, because all that hollering at you stuff, you're supposed to get hollered at the most. Third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, a little bit sixth grade. That's little boy stuff. Little boy. You're supposed to really be getting hollered at, boy, in the second and third and fourth grade. Boy, you bad. That's as bad as you ever gonna be, right? Boy, you bad, you slow, you stupid, and you mischievous, and you don't know how to act. Once you get in the fifth grade, you kind of start getting it together. So you might get hollered at some in the fifth grade, less in the sixth grade, way less in the seventh grade. And when we was growing up in the eighth grade, you like a grown man, pretty much. Because it ain't that much stuff to do. You're not already been told what not to do in the second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. So how you going to find something else to do? You done got the basics. So what the hell you going to do? What you doing bad in the seventh grade? You too big. That's why in the sixth grade graduation, the whole Chicago sixth graders went downtown. We used to go downtown to the movie for sixth grade graduation. Restaurants, the movie, all sixth graders. All the lounges and clubs had sixth grade parties that started like early in the day, like 1 o'clock till 7, 1 to 6. And we would go take the bus with our little friends and girlfriends, a group of sixth graders, ride down, get on the L train, go downtown, go see movies, go walk around, buy a little girlfriend stuff at the little shops, come all the way home, walk the girls home, come home. We was like grown men in the sixth grade. Anybody could tell you about sixth grade graduation back in 1970, 68, 69, 70, 71. Sixth graders took over the whole downtown. You would go downtown Chicago, be all sixth graders. And we in the movie like adults. Ain't no usher coming in the movie telling us nothing. Because our parents been taking us to the drive-in, to the movie so much, exposing us to life that we're very mature. We've been going to the movies since we was babies. So now by the time you go into sixth grade, you actually emulate your parents. You do everything the way they raised you. It just becomes natural. You don't know how to act a fool. You ain't never acted a fool. You don't know how to, what is that? No fights would be impossible. Think about that. Thousands of black kids downtown Chicago for sixth grade graduation and not a fight. Not a arrest. No police saying nothing. We down there like we grown. We go on Soul Train. You go to Sears, fill out your thing, go on Soul Train, just like adults. By the time I got in junior, by the time I came a junior and a senior in prom, I was basically grown. I was a grown man when I was a senior. When I was a senior, I was a grown man. Graduated on Saturday. Sunday, my mama told me my aunt coming to pick me up to take me to work. I started working Monday. Graduate Saturday, started working at WFR Printing Company. Me and my girlfriend got an apartment in a car. Rent was $250 a month. My daddy come out, I was taking all my stuff off my wall. He said, "What you doing?" "Daddy, I got an apartment." He didn't say nothing. He probably was proud. He said, "What you doing?" He seen me tell. I said, "Daddy, I got an apartment." My mom was excited. She said, "I'm gonna get you some carpet. I'm gonna buy you." She wanna fix the place up because she probably know God bless his soul, his little ass. He done got him an apartment. I'm gonna help him out. He doing good. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But it wasn't no separation between mama and daddy. And growing up as a black child, mama was the representation for daddy. When you talk to mama, you're talking to daddy. You're talking to both of them. Whatever daddy tell you to do, that go for mama. Mama agree. Whatever mama tell you to do, daddy agree. The only little difference is my daddy pushing you to grow up. And, a mother's protective. So sometimes my mom like, "Randolph, that boy can't do that." And she was right sometimes. Because one day my daddy got the hedge cutters, which, if you get your finger in there, that's going to cut your finger off. So my daddy plugged it up to the extension cord. He put me out there. I'm finna cut the hedges. Now, I had been cutting the grass, but this is a dangerous machine. He got the thing, right? So my mama come to the door. "Randolph, that boy can't do that." "Yes, he can. When I was little, I drove that tractor." She went on back in the house. My daddy give me the hedge cutters. I'm cutting the hedges and cut the doggone extension cord. Here go my mama. I told you that boy was too little. My daddy didn't say that. He like, she was right. He could have cut his fingers off. Get that boy that dangerous machine. You know what I'm saying? She was right. He shouldn't have gave me that at that age. I was too little for that. But I was smart. I ain't let it get my hands. I kept my hands out the way. But when I did that, the cord was in the way. I didn't know how to keep the cord back. You know what I'm saying? So I cut the cord. Boy, my mama cussed his ass out. I told you he can't do that. You don't be listening. Got that boy out there with that thing. Could have cut his fingers off. Now he didn't cut the cord. Uh-huh. What if he would have electrocuted himself? And then your mama back then, the mamas don't cut no slack. You know he's stupid. Okay, straight shots, right? Right. The mamas, y'all ain't grew up. Man, you young people, y'all lucky. Them mamas made you. People try to come over here and try to diss me and talk about me. Bruh, you don't understand. I'm built for it tough. And you cannot. All we did was signify on each other at school. When I grew up, your mama talk about you, your daddy talk about you, your sister talk about you. Period. And you better not cry, and it better not bother you. It shouldn't bother you. Take it like a G. Yeah, when I grew up, everybody talk about you. And it's funny. And they don't want you to be no weak. Every time somebody say something about you, you crying. I know one time I was little. I probably was in the 4th grade or something. And I came home and told my mama, Mama, them kids talking about me. And she said, I don't know why, all y'all ugly. That's what she said. All y'all ugly and funny looking. So if they said you was funny looking, they right. And they funny looking too. When you go back to school, Ma, just look at them. Is something wrong with them? Find out what's wrong with them and tell them. And I thought about it. I went to school and I noticed he sure do got a big head and her head shaped like a lemon. That's how I became a signifier. I listened to my mom. My mama say something wrong with all y'all. I start looking at them. Something sure is wrong with all of them. I start tearing their ass up. That's what she said. I said, Mama, the kids said, talked about me. Said, I think funny looking. She's like, you is. You definitely is. All y'all ugly. I've been up to that school. I seen y'all. Every last one of y'all funny looking. I started cracking up. I was kind of down and out. My mama started snapping. Boy, that shit was funny as hell. I started cracking up. I did not expect her to say that. I wanted some sympathy. Mama, the kids talking about me to my funny looking. She said, you sure is. I've been up to that school. All y'all funny looking. Every last one of you. I said, what the hell? Kind of my way you? She said, yes, y'all are. I've been up to that school. Woo, y'all some funny looking kids. She said, go up there and look at them. All y'all funny. They funny looking too. Look at them and point it out. Point out what's wrong with them. Because I've been up there and there's something wrong with every last one of y'all is funny looking. I started cracking up, but for sure, I didn't feel bad no more. My mother was a master psychiatrist. That's where I got it from. I went up to the school and looked at them kids. One of the pretty girls, she had a little mustache. Oh, I started talking about, you can't say nothing. Electro shave. You need to shave, right? I became a signified king up there. And then you couldn't hurt my feelings no more. My mama took my feelings. Say, come here, baby. They say you funny looking. They said talking about you. Let me come here, son. Where your feelings? Let mama see them. Hand me your feelings. Hell with your feelings, right? My mama. Basically, My mama psychologically stomped my feelings in the ground. My mama said, F my feelings, basically, right to my face. Basically, she said, let me see your feelings. And threw them on the ground and stomped them. There. You is funny looking, and every last one of y'all is funny looking. I've been up to that school. I've seen y'all. And she was laughing. She was making herself, that's where I get that from. Boy, she was tickling us. She thought she was the funniest thing in the world. Boy, she was cracking up at her own jokes. She thought that was hilarious when she told me, yeah, all y'all is ugly and funny. Look, every last one of y'all. I seen y'all. She said, I was like, I started laughing, but I couldn't believe I started laughing. I said, oh, hell no. And then she gave me some knowledge without me knowing. She said, go look at them. Next time they call you something, look at them close. I bet you they funny looking. So when I went up there the next day, I looked, I seen all them lopsided heads and all, because kids is funny looking. We ain't grown up yet. Our head don't match our body and all that, right? Because children is definitely funny looking. And I said, oh, I started studying. That's how I became a master signifier because of my mother. By the time we got in high school, we had a signifying crew. All we used to do is signify on each other. When we get in the same class, we talk about it. And I mean, not no place signifying. There was all no holds barred. They talk about anything about you and your mama and your daddy was the rules. You had to talk about the person, their mama, and their daddy. To the point we are sneak in the office and try to find out your mama name so we could dish your mama name. And if you was somebody got mad, you couldn't be in the signifying crew. If you was emotional like a girl, you couldn't sit back there with us because we was all hard like tanks. If you couldn't take it and you get mad, you couldn't get with me and Stu. My last name Stewart. His last name was Stewart with a D. So not only was we signifying all day, I had to see him first thing in the morning because his locker right next to that. But yeah, we had a crew, and all we did was talk about each other all day, going and practice what I'm gonna talk about there. And we had the most fun in the world. We thought that was fun. Boy, that was the most fun ever. And when they dog you or dish your daddy real hard or dish your mama real hard, it'd be like sports, like basketball. That's all right. That's how you scored on me, but watch tomorrow. Wait. It was so deep that when I went home and watched TV, all I was looking for was signifying. That's it. Because you're still a kid, like a freshman. So I'm doing freshman. Your daddy car ain't got no brakes. He got to stop it with his feet. I got that from Fred Flintstone. I was still a lot of my signifying off Fred Flintstone. How you would take a bath and there'd be an elephant washing myself. That you don't even have no shower. An elephant be washing your mama. She stank so bad. We were you know what I'm saying? We was average. By the time I was a senior, though, I had real good jokes. But as a kid, you just stealing them. You just look out the window with your ice cream truck head. You see the ice cream truck. You say, this is baby this is signifying 1-on-1 like freshmen. You know what I mean? You just throwing anything out there. And so is they. When your mama chew gum, she looked like a washing machine. Her mouth looked like a washing machine. It just be round and round, They just be making stuff up. And you just keep going till you get a good one. Silly as hell, but hey, it was a competition like golf or basketball. We took it serious. Now, Based on historical data and sociological studies, Black Americans couples married in the late 50s had a higher statistical likelihood of long lasting, stable marriages compared to those married in the late 1990s. Now, that's true. So, like for my generation, when I got in my like mid 20s, late 20s, 30s, one of the problems I was having with relationships is the women I was meeting was from a different generation. So I'm from the generation where my parents had me, and if these women is like 7 years younger than me, they from a totally different generation. So there was some, you're not gonna find a woman like your mama or like your sister or your classmates unless you marry a woman that's in your class. And a lot of times, if you don't go to college, you're not gonna necessarily meet a woman your age. And in a neighborhood you might not because a lot of the kids go away to college. So when I was coming up, a lot of your friends be gone once y'all get out of high school because she went to Texas, she went here, she went there, and then they all move and get their own apartment. So they not in a neighborhood, so you don't know where they are. And so you kind of lose contact. Then for me, living in California and living in Hawaii, I lost all contact with the youth I grew up with. They was here talking about me, man. Stu, all the way out in Hawaii, man. But I hadn't seen them in many years because I lived in California and Hawaii and back in California. So when I come back in the 90s, some of them had passed away from cancer and all type of stuff. So I had cut the cord, so I wasn't connected with the same people constantly. I end up knowing a lot of different people across the country, all the way out to the South Pacific and back. So I had a more extensive friends than a typical person. Just like a person that go to high school here and graduate, and then they go to Texas to college, they began to establish friends that they meet at college in Texas and began to have a more extensive life than the life they would have had if they just stayed right in Chicago. Sometimes they get married and they're in Texas, and then they might move to New Orleans because maybe they was going back to New Orleans, or maybe the woman they met was in New Orleans, like that. So this is how people end up in different areas under different circumstances. But the overall point before I go is that when y'all parenting, y'all got to be one. The mother has to be the one mostly dealing with the children. The father, you should not be dealing a lot with the children as far as discipline and stuff like that. The father, you should be dealing with the children more like entertainment and stuff. Mommies have a tendency, women have a tendency to be grown. So your mommy, as a mother, you're going to be watching your shows, and then your children got to watch your shows. This is how you raise your children. You make the children come sit down and watch what you want. If you're a father, you need to go sit down and watch what the children are watching. So the father come into the children's world and watch their cartoons and their stuff, right? To make them comfortable in their child world or their teenage world. Mommy, you bring the kids into the adult world and make them watch what you're watching. This is the difference between mommy and daddy. Mommy must always be dominant because she don't want to get birth to him, and she's got to always be a step up. Daddy's got to be the compassionate one, and he's got to be the one willing to step down. Daddy's got to be willing to be a boy. Okay? Because if you're raising a son, you got to go back to your childhood as a boy, because how you going to teach him how to play basketball? How you going to teach him how to play baseball? You're going to have to go back to when you was playing baseball. You're going to have to go back to when you was playing basketball. Now, the mommies do that with the girls, but the difference is girls are not that active even when they're girls. So a lot of that is irrelevant when a girl gets grown. But as a father, make sure you go watch what your kids is watching. Sometimes let them watch what they're watching in your space. Let your son play his video games on the big TV in the living room and while you there. And then the mother lift them up into the more mature information. My mother used to make us watch animal shows because back then, TV was limited. So stuff like Wild Kingdom, when they're in Africa with the elephants or the gorillas. My mom would say, y'all come in here, sit down and watch this and learn something. And the difference between my mommy and my daddy is my daddy, we downstairs eating our breakfast, we watching Bugs Bunny. My daddy sit down and watch Bugs Bunny and give commentary on Bugs Bunny. For example, we watching a cartoon, my daddy come and sit down there, a bus driver, he'll say something like, you know what's something else? I tell you something that's funny. When I'm out there on that bus and I see people look just like that, boy, we be cracking up. He say, yeah, you see Elmer Fudd? A man got on my bus look just like that. So my daddy come and commentate in our world, come down to our level and have fun with us. My mama ain't doing that. My mama ain't watching no cartoons or nothing. Y'all can do it, but she ain't doing it. When my mama call you finna watch the Olympics, you finna watch some high level stuff. And we be mad because we want to be in our room playing. She's like, stop playing, come in here and watch something and learn something. So she make you sit down, we be sitting there. And they'd be like on the lift, they'd be next is the ski jumpers. You like this. And then a lady come out with her skis and they lift her up on that thing and they go, shoo. And then she go and she start flying and then you be like this. Oh, whoa. Your mom be to put you up on something. You be like, this is good. She jumped like that. Because when you were kids, that'd be amazing. And that lady jump off, or that man jump off them skis and be in the air, or sometimes he fall and tumble over. Then the next thing you know, you all into it. But if your mama didn't make you sit there, you wouldn't even know the intelligence level of what you're watching. Like, oh, this is hard. This is serious. I remember the first time my mom made me watch and I seen that man jump on them skis and he was leaned down and he had that form and I'm like, wow. And he just flying through the air and land. If you're a boy, you know how difficult that is. And we're like, this is good. Mama be watching some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I never would have watched this. Whoa. And the crazy thing is once I leave out of room and stuff, I still don't watch it. I'm still watching Dracula, Dark Shadows, The Werewolf. I'm still James Bond, The Untouchables, and cartoons. I'm still watching it. I ain't watching and basketball. I ain't watching it. She gotta make me watch it again. If she make me watch it, I enjoy it. So that's what I wanted to talk about with that. I hope y'all learned something. Mommy and daddy is one. So if you're a mommy and daddy, y'all one word. Mommy and daddy is one. Whatever one of them say, both of them say it. Period. You can't be separated in front of the children. Have a united front in front of the children. Don't be arguing in front of the children, because arguing in front of children gives them anxiety. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. When you're arguing with each other in front of your children, you cause anxiety. They babies, they got to think about maybe you're going to split up. They don't know what's going on. That's too much for a child. Stop arguing in front of them children, especially serious arguments. Now, regular arguments like about the house and some don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But not the type of arguments that sound like y'all could break up, because that will give the children anxiety. Because the children starting to think, if they break up, I'm going to go with daddy. I'm going to go with mama. That's not good. That's not healthy for the kids. Go somewhere when the kids ain't there. If you got to go out in the car and do it. But don't put that on the kids. Because the kids got to start thinking there's something they shouldn't be thinking about. When I was real little, my mom and daddy had a couple of serious arguments, but I think they figured it out, because I never seen them have those once I was like about the third or fourth grade. It must have happened when I was real little, because they didn't do that. But I do remember once they was arguing real bad, and I remember I told my sister, I'm going with daddy, and my sister said, I'm going with mommy. So I don't know what they was arguing about. I know we was little, but see, that's not psychologically healthy, because think about that. Me and my sister think about which one we finna go with. Now, fortunately for us, that happens when so long, I don't even remember. I was so little that all that got washed away, because they just never did that as we was growing up. So it wasn't really nothing to think about, because they just wasn't doing that. But the fact that I was really little and I still remember that argument, that tells you how powerful that is. Because I still remember that argument. But the good thing is I didn't have another one to match it with, and another one, and another one. They wasn't stacked. It's just that one way when we was really little. So that's a good thing. Because that was some trauma. Obviously, I still remember it. Now imagine that trauma over and over again. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. So we have to build strong marriages and stuff again. Do I think that early anxiety affected child much later in life? Not that, because it wasn't enough. So no, not that. Nah. Only thing that's going to affect the child is constant stuff. Constant, yes. How could it not? But just certain things every now and then, no. As long as the majority of the thing is regular, they'll be fine. As long as the majority of together, they'll be fine. But for sure, and then another thing is, it takes two people for the kids to get anxiety. So the man, you have to be hard. So if I'm with a woman and we got kids and she hollering and screaming, the kids will be fine long as daddy ain't doing it back. Long as they're like, that ain't necessary, it won't bother the kids. The kids won't take it serious. It'll never register to the kid from one person. It'll only register from the kid from the two of them. That's it. It won't register from one. Because if the other one don't take it serious, the kids won't take it serious. They won't think about it. It's like, that ain't nothing. It's you the one let the kids know I ain't. It's only a problem when it's two of y'all. That's when it's going to bother the kid. So I never, and then plus if you're a man, don't be arguing back at no damn woman. Your job is to try to stop the arguing. Your job is to calm her down. Do not try to go toe-to-toe with a woman because that makes you a B word. There's nothing a woman's supposed to say gonna make you act like how she acting. You still a man. So if you're a man, don't be trying to get even with no dang on woman. Y'all never gonna, you're not even because you're a man. So you're not gonna be even you're never gonna be even in no argument with a woman because it's a woman. How you gonna be even? How? You're a man. And at the end of the day, a man ain't supposed to care too much. I'm gonna tell you straight up. A man is supposed to always try to smooth it over. A man's supposed to be the babe. No. What? And if she ain't cheating or doing nothing real crazy, what the hell?